My Doctor Who DVDs Part 2. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to Part 2 of a look at my Doctor Who DVDs. If you want to sort of know my history with Doctor Who, or a brief run through of it anyway, watch Part 1 of these. I'm not going into any depth on these, but a few things that are worth pointing out. But briefly, I have all the DVD releases until they move to Blu-ray. So from Matt Smith era onwards I have on Blu-ray, and any subsequent classic releases, apart from the special edition season box sets, although I have now started collecting the non-limited versions of those. That will make sense to some people. Watch Part 1, I explained it a bit more. Okay, so we have the Ark, William Hartnell era, the Sensorites, another William Hartnell, Meglos, Tom Baker era. This one's quite interesting in that Jacqueline Hill, who was Barbara, the first Doctor's assistant, returns as a villain. Totally different character, but the same actress in this one. Paradise Towers, Sylvester McCoy era. The Mutant, John Pertwee era. Terrible cover. Very strange picture of him maybe used there. Planet of Giants, William Hartnell. Death to the Daleks, John Pertwee. Day of the Daleks, John Pertwee. One of the box sets, this is rather squashed. Chameleon Tails. So they introduced, in the Peter Davison era, a robot companion called Chameleon, and because he didn't really work, they quickly forgot about him. But this contains the two main episodes he was in, The King's Demon and Planet of Fire. And Planet of Fire, they've also done a special edition version on there as well, which is a feature-length version in widescreen. They do that occasionally. Another set, this is two Hartnell era, Space Museum and The Chase. The Chase is a Dalek adventure. Two Cybermen stories lumped together. Revenge of the Cybermen, Tom Baker era, and then Silver Nemesis, Sylvester McCoy. Myths and Legends. This contains the Time Monster, Underworld and Horns as Nemon, or Nimon. So two Tom Bakers, and then the Time Monster is Pertwee. Basically, yeah, Myths and Legends, so they're loosely based on Greek mythology and things like that. This is Power of Daleks. So this was one of the first animated releases. So this is done 50 years after its only UK broadcast release as an animated release, Patrick Troughton era. Nice slipcase. I don't know if you've spotted the slipcase on that one. But some nice spot gloss and what have you. This is the Enemy of the World. So in the previous part I showed you the Web of Fear, which was recently rediscovered. At the same time, they recently rediscovered the Enemy of the World, so they rush released both of those basically to get them out there. So this is the rush released version with the reversible sleeve rather. They have subsequently both had special editions, which I do also own. Blu-ray I think, so I think I've already shown them. Okay, this is The Infinite Quest. So this was, they call it feature length, it's 80 minutes, so yeah, it is feature length actually. This was originally done as an ongoing set of episodes in the Totally Doctor Who children's BBC show. You know, if they show 10 minutes or whatever, 5 minutes each week on each episode. This is the combined version into a film. It's fun, you know, it's aimed at kids, but it's quite fun. This hasn't got reversible artwork or anything like that. This is its own thing. The new Who releases don't tie in to the classic series. This is the War Games, Patrick Troughton era. This was his last episode, I seem to recall. Revisitations 1, so briefly, I did talk about it in the one, but the early releases didn't have nearly as many extras as the later ones, so some of them they redid as special editions, and first of all they released them in these box sets, Revisitations, then they just released them individually. This contains The Talons of Weng Chiang, The Caves of Androzani, and Doctor Who the Movie, all in special editions. This is Greatest Show in the Galaxy, Sylvester McCoy era. The Invasion, Patrick Troughton era, and again this has got animated episodes to complete it. Episodes 1 and 4 were missing, so they've animated them to tell the complete story. Another Troughton, this is The Dominators. It's mainly Troughton that was wiped. Few Hartnell, I think, but mainly Troughton. So all the animated releases, more or less, are Troughton ones. The War Machines, probably my favourite William Hartnell story. Frontios, Peter Davison. The Demons, John Pertwee. Planet of the Spiders, John Pertwee's last episode. The Ambassadors of Death, another John Pertwee. Colony in Space, yes, another John Pertwee. Terror of the Zygons, Tom Baker. Love the cover on this one. An Adventure in Space and Time. So this is actually, for the 50th anniversary, one of the many things that happened was Mark Gatiss wrote I was going to say it's a biopic, but it's a docudrama, if you like, about the creation of the TV series. And then it sort of follows through to the end of William Hartnell's era. Really good, really well done. It's because of this that David Bradley now plays the First Doctor in the proper series when he crops up. But yeah, really good. This was subsequently included in the 50th anniversary Blu-ray box set, so I've got it on there as well. It's got a reversible sleeve, but it's done to look like a Doctor Who annual of the time, rather than being done to fit in with the releases. Nightmare of Eden. I always want to say on Eden. Nightmare of Eden, Tom Baker. The Crotons, Patrick Troughton. This is the Unit Files box set, so this is two that feature Unit, basically. Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which is Tom Baker, and the Android Invasion, which is John Pertwee. Sylvester McCoy, Delta and the Bannermen. Sylvester McCoy, Remembrance of the Daleks, which is one I vividly recall watching as a child. For some reason this one came in a slipcase. Oh, it's a special edition version of it. They had already released it once, of course, yeah. So they stuck it in a slipcase. Which they stopped doing that as well. Peladon Tales. So these are the two episodes set on Peladon, two Pertwee era ones. Curse of Peladon and The Monster of Peladon. to William Hartnell, Rescue and the Romans, chucked together. The Black Guardian trilogy. So during the Davidson era, there was a little trilogy of releases where the Black Guardian was controlling Turlough and trying to get him to sabotage the Doctor. So it's Enlightenment, Terminus and Mordrin Undead. Twin Dilemma, Colin Baker's first episode. The Keys of Marinus, William Hartnell. Most of these I've only watched the ones that have had special edition releases I've watched twice, and obviously any that I saw originally I've watched more, but most of them I've only watched once, so I'm not completely au fait with exactly what happens in each story. This is Canine Tales. So this contains the Invisible Enemy, which was when the Doctor first gets Canine, and then it also contains A Girl's Best Friend, which is Canine and Company, which was I think it's on, I want to say it was shown on Boxing Day. It normally tells me, no, 28th of December 1981. They tried to launch a Canine TV series with Sarah Jane, played by Liz Sladen. So it's sort of a crime thriller, well, not really a thriller, but a crime Miss Marple-y type. You know, she's investigating, her aunt's missing, and so she's investigating her missing aunt, and there's a mysterious cult and things like that. It's not great. They've done this as a double-sided sleeve, so that's a similar theme to the normal releases, and then just a generic one for the other side. It's nice to have, and it's, you know, interesting that many years later we got Sarah Jane Adventures, which was Sarah Jane investigating things with K9. Speaking of which, also included with all these are the DVD versions, at least, of the spin-off series from New Who. So we have the aforementioned Sarah Jane Adventures, first series, second series, third series. Again, basically, if it's on DVD, if it was, I have it here. If it's on Blu-ray, I've already shown it. I think 4 and 5 are Blu-ray. Let's have a look. Yeah, series 4 and 5 I have on Blu-ray. Really loved Sarah Jane Adventures. It was, you know, it was very good for a kids show, and the cast were excellent. And then Torchwood. These have been released on Blu-ray, but at the time they came out, I didn't have Blu-ray. So the first two series of Torchwood I have on DVD. The rest I have on Blu-ray, because by the time they came out, I did have Blu-ray player. There's something I might pick up on Blu-ray one day, but I'm in no rush to. But I did really enjoy Torchwood. Very good spin-off. More animated stuff. So this was Dreamland. So this was another Tennant era animated show. This was, I'm trying to remember if this was online or TV. I think this was on TV originally, but I can't remember, to be honest. But this is the Doctor investigating Area 51. It's only short, it's only half an hour or so, 44 minutes. But it's fun, you know. Tennant's always watchable, even in animated form. And this has got a separate disc with Doctor Who Greatest Moments, the Doctor, the Companions and the Enemies. So on to New Who, I showed Series 1 in the big TARDIS box set. Was the first thing I showed in the first part. Here's the complete second series. And this has got a broken clear slip over it, and then lenticular front and back. Quick insert. This second series complete box set actually came in what is now a very dusty Cyberman head case, which is a nightmare to store, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I had this little lenticular Dalek thing in there, together with a booklet about the series. But I keep it separate because, as I say, that's a nightmare to store. The third series, which again has a lenticular front. The complete fourth series, which has got a nice holographic slip over a normal case. We have the Trial of a Time Lord. So that's this series, isn't it? Yes. So season 23, as they call it, Colin Baker's last series, was done as a 14-part story. The Trial of a Time Lord, where basically the Doctor is on trial for crimes, and then there's sort of 4 separate sort of flashback episodes. So part Mysterious Planet is parts 1 to 4, Mind Warp 5 to 8, Terror of the Vervoids 9 to 12, and The Ultimate Foe 13 and 14. So they're sort of standalone stories, but all tied up in this trial. Doesn't completely work, but that's a box set of those. Okay, that's it for this part. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the third and final part. Thanks. Bye.